I would say, number one, you define your own terms of what success means to you. And I would say that to anybody from any walk of life, because if you know, a lot of people will say like, oh, it's my nightmare to like just live in suburbia and have 2.5 kids with a white picket fence or whatever. But to another person, that could be heaven. You know, they could be like, it is my life goal to be like an excellent mother who raises 2.5 kids and lives in a nice neighborhood, whatever. Don't let other people's definitions of success define yours. And that's really, really hard to digest for a lot of people, especially I feel like a lot of people with traditional Asian parents who, perhaps like my father, like to push their idea of success onto you and want to mold you into something that you're not. So I think that your journey is your journey. Nobody else has walked in your shoes. And you are the only person that matters when it comes to what you're going to do with your life. So as long as you're not hurting anybody, you know, pursue what you're happy pursuing. Like, find a career that makes you happy, that expresses your strengths and your passions, and don't worry about what other people think. You know, you could be the best waiter at a local restaurant or something, and if you love that, that's great for you. I feel like this is very much like the wheel of different religions, with all of them, like let's say Christianity, Judaism, Buddhism, whatever. They all are separate points on the wheel that have all the spokes leading to the same thing, God, right in the center. So I feel like that's life too, you know? There are many, many ways to be happy, and you need to find the right one for you. So don't let anybody else tell you this is the only way. There is not the only way. The only way is not just being a doctor, a lawyer, or an engineer. That's what I would say to the Asians. You need to set your own boundaries and your own definitions. And it is very, very challenging to accept a new identity. My identity is not an Asian American with a disability. To me, I feel that I am just a human being who happens to have Asian parents and ancestry, and who just happens to have acquired a disability. The two things are not part of my identity at all. For me, my identity is what I make it. So I would rather express my humanness through my work without, you know, victimizing myself and being like, oh, poor me, I can't do whatever just because I have mobility issues or whatever. No, it's not about what I can't do, it's about what I can do. One last thought. The only limitations that you have are the ones that you set for yourself. So for me, even like being like a multimillionaire is not even out of the question for me. Like, if you shoot for the moon, you'll at least land in the stars, right? And I mean, again, I would say that for anyone, but when you have a physical disability, a lot of times it can get really easy to kind of get down on yourself and be like, oh, well, you know, I can't do this. Something that I've learned in my whole sort of journey into entrepreneurship and personal development is that can't stands for certainly am not trying. So never tell yourself that you can't do something. Next year or next time there will probably be an Olympic athlete that completely wows everybody. I know that there was somebody who was racing motorcycles who like doesn't have full use of his hands or something like that. And he was like one of the major ones, I think, in Italy doing the motocross or whatever. So you would surprise yourself what you can do. You can never just say like, oh, I just can't. Like, who was it that said like whether you say you can or you can't, you're right. So if you have some really big dream, don't rule it out. Just make sure that you take that huge dream and you break it up into smaller, more manageable chunks and work on it one step at a time.